Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, are we here? Okay. Welcome to Educate Africa's second webinar, dubbed a deep dive into cybersecurity and career opportunities. As you've already, on the slideshow, you realize that we've shown our social media platforms. You are not following us, we advise that you follow us for such beautiful stuff that we are organizing. And we also have some goodies. Then we kind of post some beautiful goodies from time to time. Your speaker is in. So let's give ourselves the next 5 minutes and then we'll start. Thank you so much. Good evening, guys. I think it's time for us to start because of the time difference between Ghana and then India. I would like to say a very big thank you for joining us on this webinar. We have our speaker here in the person of Binay Roy. He's been in the tech space for the past 22 years and has served on various managerial positions in various capacities. And he's currently with EC Council. He's the country director for the Middle East and Africa with regards to EC Council. I'd like to introduce to you your speaker, Binay Roy. Binay Roy, your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexandra. Can I have a small confirmation about my audio? Am I audible properly? Am I audible? A small yes on the chat would do. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I would now like to share my screen. And I hope my screen is visible as well. Okay, I have the confirmation now. Thank you so much. You know, when this discussion came up about this webinar as to what should we talk about, what should be the webinar be like, it always comes to my mind when I was starting my career. I was thinking, there were a lot of questions. I was always thinking as to what should I do? Where should I go? What career should I choose? And today, when we are talking about cybersecurity, I am sure that these questions would be there in almost everybody's mind. So what I'll try to do over here in this small session is that I'll try and answer some very basic and elementary questions. What is cybersecurity? Why cybersecurity? And how can you succeed in cybersecurity? As a professional, where do you start? How much will you earn? And basic questions. And after that, if you feel that it does make any sense, you can actually start your fantastic journey in cybersecurity. I see that there are people joining as I speak, but just for the sake of people who have joined on time, let's begin. I assume that the screen is visible. There would be a couple of logical stops in the presentation, wherein I would like to answer questions. So please feel free to put up your questions in the chat box, and it would be
sir, please, I'll be the one taking the questions on their behalf. So when they have a question, I'll forward it to you, please.
Sure, that would be fantastic. So when we talk of the session for the day, we are going to talk about what is cybersecurity. We'll have a small look at the market size of the cybersecurity, recent developments, and what has been the effect of these developments on the cybersecurity industry. We'll talk about if there is a manpower shortage, what are the career paths, where do we start, what would be the approximate salary of a professional, and then we'll take up all question answers that are left out. So what is cybersecurity? Very elementary, very basic definition. I don't want any bookish definition. So let's try and understand what is cybersecurity. We are talking of security and we are talking of data, plain and simple. So if you are involved in any kind of job that entails safeguarding data, servers, network, you are managing access control, you are securing an application, you are part of a cybersecurity industry. It's this very simple. Now, as we go online, as more and more people are moving online, the threat is also there. So wherever people are, there is threat. Similarly, nowadays people are moving online. Banks have moved online. Companies have moved online. We have moved online. Similarly, if we are there on an online space, so are the criminals. Now, if you look at the market size, the major chunk of it obviously goes to the US, then it goes to Europe, Asia Pacific, and somewhere there we have Middle East and Africa. Now, this entire industry, cybersecurity industry, is around $156 billion in 2020, just a couple of years back. And in the next 4 years, it is expected to be around $352 billion. Now, what does this mean? It means that more and more people would be required in the industry. There would be a lot of money that would be spent by the organizations who would like to secure their data. There would be companies who would like to train their manpower. So there is a growth of approximately 14.5% on an average, what we expect very, very soon to happen. So this is good news. Why? Obviously, this is one of the industries where we have good growth. This is one of the industries where people are getting jobs. This is one industry which is not going to slow down. Now, we all know the recent developments that humankind has undergone. I'm talking about the COVID-19 virus. Now, what that has done to many industries. So when you look at other industries, you see that there is a slump, there is a challenge. There are certain industries which have taken a very massive hit. For example, tourism has taken a hit. Then there are some industries which has done very, very well. For example, the pharmaceutical industries has done well. IT industry has done well. So cybersecurity is one industry that has actually grown in these times. Now, why has it grown? Why has cybersecurity grown during these times? Of course, because more and more people started working remotely. The more people started working remotely, the more security was required. Companies had to find out innovative ways and means and methods to actually reach out to their customers. Companies who were able to reach out to their customers in an offline mode now had to switch over to online mode. And the moment they created softwares had vulnerabilities, softwares had gaps, which was exploited sometimes by hackers. If you look at these numbers, in just 1 month of April 2020, if you remember, was the first wave that was hit globally, and we were going through a very, very tough phase. In one single month, Switzerland alone had 350 cyber attacks. More than 500,000 people have been affected by breaches globally. Now, there have been the platform on which we are talking, Zoom, that was not left. Even that was attacked. So you see, as people moved online, as people started shifting their workspaces online, remote working came into the picture, the cybersecurity market all of a sudden grew exponentially. Now, what happens when an industry grows this fast? There is shortage. Now, all the data that you see in front of you, these are all screen grabs of very, very simple Google searches. Cybersecurity, manpower shortage in cybersecurity. You will see that the industry is projecting a massive manpower shortage in the coming time, which means there would be more jobs than people. So, as a career starter, what do you think? What should you do? What should you plan? So the first thing that a career starter should think about is getting into an industry which has a good potential. There is some noise. I would request everyone to please be on mute. Thank you so much. Now, as a career starter, your primary goal is to finalize an industry which grows. I think there is noise over here. Okay, so yes, we have an industry that is growing. Second, it's to choose an industry which can cater your long-term growth. Does it offer? Does cybersecurity industry offer long-term growth options? Yes, of course, it does. Is it easy to understand? Maybe yes, maybe no. We can talk about it. But then what we try and understand over here is that as a career starter, this is an industry which is calling you. Why calling? Because this is an industry which has space, growth, money, potential, everything. So as a student, as a career starter, I think you should look very, very seriously towards the cybersecurity industry. By the way, we'll take the first logical question answer break. If there is any questions till now, I'll be happy to answer them.
Sir, please, no questions so far.
Okay, so we move forward. Now, let's look at the possible career paths. What are the possible career paths in the industry? As a very similar to every industry, we have a pyramid structure wherein the entry level jobs are available as interns. The entry level, you can have a cybersecurity expert, novice, and then gradually you move from defense expert or an attack expert or a penetration tester, and then you gradually grow towards a CISO, that is the Chief Information Security Officer of an organization. I would like to take a small pause here and try and explain you what are the primary roles that you can get into when it comes to cybersecurity. Let me try and make it a bit simpler for you. Imagine you having, let's say, a server. Let's say you have a server. Now, as a professional, the server would have your data. And as a professional, your job is to make sure that the server remains safe. So, of course, what would you do? You would end up setting up these policies, these firewalls, these software adjustments in place to make sure that no one can hack your server. Now, so that's what have you done? You have created a defense. You have learned how to defend the server, and you have implemented those skills that you have learned to defend a particular set of data. Now, as you defend it, there would be one thought that would come to your mind. What if someone is able to breach? What happens if someone is able to hack? So what do? The next thing that you do is you call upon a friend who knows how hacking works, who knows how hackers work. So what does he do? He comes and he tries and attack the server. But understand, he comes with a good intention. His intentions are not to hack, but to find out where the problems are. And he uses more or less the same techniques that other hackers use. And he tries and hacks your box. Now that is attack. So there is one aspect to cybersecurity, which is defense. Then there is another aspect called attack. And for, let's say your friend comes, he tries all the techniques, tools and techniques, and he's not able to hack. And then he says that, fine, your box is perfect. Your server is up to the mark, so don't worry, nothing is going to happen. You are safe. One fine morning, you see that your server has been hacked. There was a smarter hacker. Then what do? You call experts who come and they look at the system, they look at the server, and then they try to find out what went wrong, how things went wrong, how the hackers were able to hack into the system. Now that is called forensic investigation. So you see there are three things. One, defense. Two, attack. And three, you have forensic investigation. So these are the three broad brackets you can call, or broad career options that you have in cybersecurity. And after spending time so you can either become a defense expert, or you can become a penetration tester, which is the attacker, or you can become a forensic investigator. After a while, after you have spent a lot of time on that, the last option again would be to reach out and become a chief information security officer. So as you go higher, the career options, they minimize. The options minimize, the seniority increases, the pay increases. So you'll have major options when you are at the individual contributor level. That is where your individual skills come into the play, whether you are a white hat hacker or a data analyst or a cloud architect, or you are a simple cybersecurity analyst or a SOC analyst. So there are various designations and roles which you can take up after you understand and study the content. So based on the interest area, based on the amount of certifications that you have cleared, based on the kind of education you have taken up, it depends what kind of a role you would be taking up. Now, as I told you earlier, that there are three different routes that you can take. You can either become a defense expert, or you can become a penetration tester or the attack expert, or you can become a forensic investigator. Now, please understand, how do you demonstrate your knowledge? How do you prove that you know the nuances, you know the topic in and out, you know how to safeguard the systems? You learn. And how do you prove that you have learned? You attempt the certification exams, you clear these certification exams so that people can recognize your skill, they recognize your knowledge, and then you get the job that you are trying to go for. So as a user, as a career starter, you can start with defense. Then if you see there is a branching out which goes in, you can either get into penetration testing, or you can get into SOC analyst, threat detection, threat response. So these, each and every certification that you see on the screen over here has a role, a particular job role in mind, and it prepares you for that particular job role or job cycle. Now, there are certain certifications which are mentioned at the bottom. Now, these are standalone certifications, or we call it specializations, which you can take up while you are studying or after you have decided your track or a path for your career. And then you can take these certifications as and when necessary. Now, the most important thing that comes to mind is, where do we start? I want to get into cybersecurity. I understand it's a fantastic career option. I understand there is good salary, there is good growth, but what do I do? Where do I start? So my suggestion is that you try and analyze your own personality first. Why is it necessary? You see, there are a lot of career options available. Not all career options are good for everybody. Some are meant for some, you succeed if you choose the right career option. Depending upon your personality, you are bound to succeed in your career. So let's try and understand. If you are a technology buff, so what do we mean by technology buff? You like to get into new technologies, new OS. There at the moment there is a new release of Windows, you are the first one to download and install on your laptop. So the career options that you should look for is security engineers, software security, network security. If you identify yourself as an under pressure champ, that means you work under pressure, you flourish under pressure. I mean, until unless there is pressure, you don't tend to put in your 100%. So you should get into incident response, forensic investigator, or data recovery, because these roles, these responsibilities are very, very critical. For example, in case of incident response, there is a hack which is going on. That's where you are required. So imagine the kind of pressure you would be to make sure that you throw the hacker out of the system. Because as long as the hacker stays, he's eating up your system. He's destroying it. He's copying data. He's doing every sort of thing which is not supposed to do. So if you are someone who loves work under pressure, go for these career options. If you like to talk, if you're good at talking, become a manager. Gun for the high profile jobs, because you can communicate better. If you like helping and supporting people, try consultancy, try threat intelligence. And if you love challenges, then you should become those attackers. These are the penetration testers. We call it ethical hacker or penetration testers. So these are some broad categories of people. So find out your personality type, see where you belong, and then based on that, choose a career path, and then try and understand which certifications, which courses are required for you to become a particular professional. For example, let's say you like working under pressure. Now, if you like working under pressure, that means you can become a forensic investigator. So the first thing that you need to understand is, what do I need to do if I have to become a forensic investigator? One thing is for sure, I love working under pressure. Forensic investigator is something that I want to become now. What do I do? So you need to go through some 4 certifications to reach to a level of forensic investigator. That's where the team Alexandra can help you understand which career option you should choose from. We'll take the second logical question answer break. If there is any questions that are there, I would love to answer them.
Please, there are 2 questions right now. First question, what is the best way to learn cybersecurity?
Okay. So the best way to learn is by actually doing it. Now, what I'm trying to position over here is that you need to identify your personality type, and based on the personality type, you need to figure out which job role or which profile you should be picking up. And as I gave you an example just a while ago for about forensic investigator, you need to see. So if you have to become a penetration tester, how many certifications you need to clear? What is the average learning age or learning duration for a penetration tester? What are the certifications that you need to clear? And when can you start? So that's how you should plan your way into cybersecurity. I hope I've answered that. What is the second question?
The second question states that, can you switch from business to cyber anytime?
Well, when you say business to cyber, I am assuming that you are a technical person. Cybersecurity happens to be a technical field, but cybersecurity as an industry, when you look at it, employs all sort of people. So let me give you an example. Let's say there is a company which creates a particular software which helps a person, let's say, fight viruses. Just taking a small example. Now, once the company has created a product, they need to sell the product. For them to sell the product, they need salespeople. They need people from business. Now, is the person who is selling a software security product working in business, or is he working in cybersecurity? He's working in cybersecurity industry for a job which requires business acumen. So if your question is, can I shift from business to core technology, core technical aspect? Yes, if you have the inclination, you can start the study, you can clear certifications, and you can definitely get into the technical aspect of the industry. You can either become a defense expert, or you can become a forensic investigator, or you can become a penetration tester or data recovery expert. You need to study those certifications. But it is not always that you need to change your entire professional career to get into cybersecurity. Cybersecurity industry requires people from marketing, they require people from business, they require people from accounts. So it's an industry. every aspect is required over there. So if you are doing something somewhere in some other industry, trust me, such openings would also be there in cybersecurity. Try and check thoroughly before taking a career changing decision. I hope I've answered the question.
Thank you. The next question is, as a network engineer, where can I kickstart my career in cybersecurity?
So if you are a network engineer, the first thing the nearest that you can do is defense. That's the fastest way to get into cybersecurity. You should look at certifications like Certified Network Defender, Certified Ethical Hacker. Now, these two are the base core level certifications that are available. These two certifications will enable you to actually opt for a lot of mid-level or entry-level jobs in cybersecurity industry. So, in fact, I would say that a lot of people who do CCNA, a lot of people who do MCSE, they take up these courses like CND and CEH, and they switch over to cybersecurity industry. That's very, very common, very, very well mapped, and it's a very natural step. So you can easily do that.
Thank you. The next question, is it possible to move straight to a certification you need, like moving straight to CEH, or you have to go through some minor certifications before you get that one?
Okay, that's a very beautiful question, I would say. This is one question which I get a lot. So I would first look at what kind of technical qualification you carry. Now, for example, let's take an example of two people, Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A has been a technology student. He has done some basic understanding courses. He knows how to install operating systems. He has been doing a lot of installation, uninstallation, and he has been working with PCs for a while. Can he straight away jump into CEH? Yes. Why? Because he knows the basics of network, protocols, and he's able to understand. So he would be able to completely make sense of what the trainer teaches. Let's take the example of Mr. B. Mr. B has been a very good student of maths or let's say biology, for example, and he wants to get into cybersecurity. Can he should take CEH? Yes, he can. Should he take? No. Why? Because it is always important to make sure that whatever certification you study, you extract the maximum from it. Now, how will you extract the maximum if you are not well versed with the basic understanding of the certification? So in order for you to understand CEH, you need a bit of technology. If it is there, please go and do CEH, no worries. If it is not, you should rather spend some time in going through our certifications like Essentials. These are free certifications, free videos are available. You can download them, you can get in touch with the team over here. They'll help you with free videos. Just download them, view those videos, and within 10-15 days, if you practice, you should be up there to go for a CEH certification.
Thank you. So another question from one of our viewers from our YouTube channel. The question reads, what is the career path for a cybersecurity entrepreneur? By a cybersecurity entrepreneur, I mean someone who owns a cybersecurity company.
Okay. So when someone says that they want to become a cybersecurity entrepreneur, that's one of the best things, and that's music to my ears. Why? Because here is someone who is not only planning to create his or her own career in cybersecurity, but willing to give jobs. Fantastic. Great. Now, what can he do? As a cybersecurity entrepreneur, you can become a consultant to large organizations. All organizations require penetration testers. So you can provide penetration testing services. You can provide defense services. You can provide forensic investigation services. So all these certifications that you see, now these are job roles. Now, as an entrepreneur, you can provide these services to all your large corporations, small companies, banks. For example, as an entrepreneur, you can reach out to a particular bank and offer security awareness courses for people who are not very technical. You see, cybersecurity does not involve only technology domain. Every individual who is carrying a connected device, cell phone, tablet, laptop, desktop, whatever, they are affected by cybersecurity. For example, let's say there is a person who works in a bank. He is a cashier. He carries a phone, simple Android phone, and he checks his email, spends some time on Facebook, Insta. That's it. That's his life. Is he covered under cybersecurity? Yes, he is. How? He might be a victim of a phishing attack. So he needs to be sure how to stay safe. So as an entrepreneur, one of the largest markets that you can look at, which is easily available, is security awareness market. That is one market which everybody walking on the street with a device is your potential customer. Start from there, then work your way towards offering specialized services to large companies. So I would rather suggest that if you are if you just started a company, this would be easier for you because you need to do something wherein you have multiple customers and you'll get that immediately for security awareness.
Thank you very much. We have 5 more questions, but I would read 2 more so we'll be able to proceed and address the next set of questions for the next question session.
Sure.
So the next question reads, what certification do I need to be an incident response or forensics investigator or a data recovery professional?
Okay, so I would rather take you back on the presentation. This is a very, very simple question. If you see threat response, so if you want to build a career in incident response, you should get the certification, which is ECIH, which is EC Council Certified Incident Handler. And in order to reach there, you have to start with a defense, then get into SOC, then CTIA and ECIS. So you'll have to clear some 4 certifications to reach. There is no compulsion that you will have to do this all 4. You can directly get into ECIH, but as I said earlier, it is easier if you do in a sequence. Now, if you do CND and CEH, these 2 certifications, one is the defense, one is the attack. This actually sets the stage for you to get into multiple career options. So you can get into incident handling, you can get into data recovery, or you can get into forensic investigation as well. So start with CND, the first, then CEH, the second. Take a pause try and understand what do you like. Would you like to do forensic investigation for the rest of your life or for a foreseeable future? Yes, do CHFI. Else do EDRP or ECIH. But these two certifications you can take back to back and be at a position to take a decision.
Thank you very much. So the last question for this session is, what course should I take after completing a bachelor in information technology in order to become an ethical hacker?
Well, it's a simple answer. If you want to become an ethical hacker, the certification that you need to take is Certified Ethical Hacker. And since you have already completed bachelor's in information technology, I assume that there would be substantial IT knowledge that will help you to understand the ethical hacking course, and you can do fantastic in that. So just take up CEH straight away. If you like what you learn, the next step would be to take the CPET, that is the Certified Penetration Tester. So very simple.
Thank you very much. Please, you may proceed. I think the next questions would come for the next question session.
Okay. So after this point, when we have tried and understood what personality do we carry, and we see that we have career option for each and every personality that is there, it becomes very easy for us to actually get into the mode where I can do what I'm made of. I can do what I should do because I would enjoy doing that. Now, the most important question, how much will I earn? So if you look at the data, these are all figures which are taken from the internet, PayScale, websites like payscale.com. They are fairly correct. I wouldn't say exactly because various companies offer different scales, but more or less, this is the salary at which you would be working in the industry. Not a bad option to get into. Now, I can take all the questions that are there, and if there are any more, please post those questions.
Yes, please. So the next question, there happens to be a lot of certifications for penetration testing. How can you decide which one to take?
Okay. We need to understand what is penetration testing. Okay. Let's try and understand what is penetration testing, and then you will yourself answer the question. So, as I told you earlier, let's say you have a server and you want to protect the server. So you call upon a friend, and the friend, let's take another example. Let's not repeat the same example. Let us say there is a particular house, and you are responsible for the security of that particular premises. Now, what would you do? The first thing would you, if you become a security head of a, let's say a small house, what would you do? You would install fence, you would install cameras, you would install alarm doors, you will install motion sensors. You will try and install all possible security mechanism to make sure that your house remains safe. Now, you would deploy a person who has knowledge of each and every security deployment that you have done. That is called ethical hacker. Someone who has a view of your entire security installation, someone who has a view of your entire server architecture, and they check each and every aspect of it. They'll go and check the alarm, they'll go and check the fence, they'll go and check the cameras, they'll go and check this. They know everything is, whatever is installed, they know that, and they'll keep on checking and they'll make sure that everything works fine. That's ethical hacker. Now let's say your CCTV or the camera that you have installed stops working. What do? Will you call someone who manages the fence? No. Will you call someone who manages motion detection? No. Who will you call? So you would call an expert whose work would be limited to the camera only. Now, in case of companies and large servers, whenever there is as a regular exercise, penetration testers are called upon and they are given access to the server wherein they are supposed to work. Let me bold, italic and underline. They are supposed to work practically and find out all possible vulnerabilities in that particular server pertaining to one area. Now, the first thing that is required is you should go for a certification that gives you practical access, that questions you practically. There are a lot of certification examinations, as rightly said, but majority of them, they give you a multiple choice question. So you have a question, you have 4 options. The real life does not work that way. Real life, you are supposed to do the job practically. So check for a certification examination, certification course that gives you the practical approach towards certification. You don't answer multiple choice questions. You go for solving a particular problem on the server or on a cyber range or on an infrastructure. Now, I'm happy to share that our CPENT certification examination that we have, the duration of that examination is 24 hours. So either you can give the exam by sitting at a stretch for 24 hours, or you can give it in a block of 12 plus 12 hours. No theory. There is no theory question, all practical assessment. So imagine you clearing a certification examination where you have run penetration testing exercises for 24 hours at a stretch. Rather than doing that, would you prefer going and answering some questions which has multiple options? No, never. So for penetration testing, always better go for practical approach. It gives you real life exposure and more value.
Thank you very much. So the next question reads, is it possible to be a penetration tester and at the same time an ethical hacker?
Well, penetration tester is the next logical upgrade of an ethical hacker. So you start yourself as an ethical hacker, and if you want to grow further, then you become a penetration tester. So yes, you can obviously become an ethical hacker and a penetration tester.
Thank you very much. The next question. I want to know the meaning of the career path in cybersecurity, threat intelligence, cloud security, penetration tester, incident analysis, and IT security audits.
Okay, so this would take some time. Now, if you have to understand very in a simple manner, for example, let's take cloud security. What is cloud security? So as an organization, you host your website, and when you host your website, you have an option of hosting it on cloud. You can do a shared server or you can do a cloud hosting. Now, which are the companies that do cloud hosting? So you have Azure, you have Google Cloud, you have Oracle Cloud, you have AWS. Now, when you put your website or when you put your data onto the cloud with these providers, you need to learn special skill set to make sure that your data that you're putting on the cloud is secured. So if you learn those aspects, so you become a cloud security professional. Now, as for the others, the incident handler is someone who manages the attack if it is happening at that point in time. So you are told how to isolate a system, how to identify a breach, isolate the breach, remove the breach, and then get the data back up running. What was the third one? There were 4 career options that were discussed. These were the 2. What were the other 2? Josephine, you there?
Sorry, the next questions. What is the
there
difference?
Were two other options, career options were there. I would like to answer those as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me read the question again. Threat intelligence.
Okay. So
cloud security.
Okay, got it. So as far as threat intelligence is concerned, your job involves in identifying a potential threat scenario where you look at the server, you look at the vulnerabilities, and you predict what can go wrong. So your job involves making sure that the organization knows if there is something wrong with the system. You are the one who told them how to stay safe. So these are all specialized career options where you can actually clear these certification papers as you go forward, and from there you take it and try and understand how to grow. So the first and the foremost step that you can take is have CEH and CND, and then from there you grow from strength to strength. Then you decide whether you want to get into threat intelligence or threat handling or cloud security, whatever. Next one, please.
Thank you. So the next question, what is the difference between cybersecurity and information security?
Well, different people call it differently, but it is more or less the same. When you talk about securing information or securing the data, some call it information security, some call it cybersecurity, more or less the same. On a broad scale, it doesn't make any
difference. Okay. The next question. I am a system support officer. Which certification is good for me?
Which officer?
A system support officer.
You are a system support officer. Which certification is good for you? See, it all depends. Where would you like to reach? What is your goal? And any certification that you take up should lead to a particular goal that you have fixed for yourself. For example, if you are a system support officer and you want to get into cybersecurity industry, so maybe you can start with again CND and CEH and see where it lands, what kind of jobs you are able to get, and then further develop yourself into specializations, and then take a decision.
Thank you. So the next question, as a Bachelor of Computer Science student, how do I combine my academics with cybersecurity training without clashes?
Well, it would clash. It would be complementary, I would say, because Bachelor of Computer Science, you would be anyway studying a lot of technology. And cybersecurity, you need to check what if there is any coverage of cybersecurity in your existing academic curriculum. If there is, see what topics you are learning over there, and from there, see if you can pick up some which is a common topic. So it helps you. So if you do the certification, it also helps you in your college academics. And since you are starting off, again, the elementary certifications that I would suggest is CEH and the CND. And from there, once you complete your graduation, get these two certifications cleared, and from there, it would be easier for you to decide whether to go in for a job immediately or further you want to enhance your studies, whether you want to do a master's. So if you want to do your master's, maybe you can go for a master's in cybersecurity certificate, graduation, post-graduation course as well. So that would also help.
Thank you. Please, does any of the certification course have an age limitation?
No, it does not.
Okay, can you enter cybersecurity with few knowledge in programming?
Yes, of course. We don't need extensive knowledge in programming. If you have knowledge in programming, you can take up software security. For example, if you know Java or you know .NET or you know Python, so there are certification courses which teaches you how to securely write a program in Java or .NET. But you don't need knowledge in programming to get into cybersecurity. You do need some basic knowledge of computers, but not programming. So if you don't know programming and you want to get into cybersecurity, you can get into it.
The next question, as a cybersecurity personnel, what is the best way to respond to a successful cyber attack to an organization?
Well, if you are a cybersecurity professional and if your organization has been hit by a cyber attack, then obviously there would be protocols in place in your organization that would define the steps that are required to be taken. You would be having a cybersecurity team, or you would have outsourced the entire security operations to another organization and go with the protocol, go with the requirement of the situation's need and how you can mitigate the risk, how you can get your data back, how soon you can be up and running. So there are various steps that are taught in these certification courses. My suggestion is that you should go ahead and get the team trained in these certifications.
Thank you. Where can I do my master's in cybersecurity after having a Bachelor of Computer Engineering?
Well, there are a lot of universities who offer masters in cybersecurity courses. You need to Google them. I'm not sure which universities in Ghana would offer that, but there are a lot of online universities as well that offer masters in cybersecurity courses, and they do take candidates from computer science, bachelors of computer science as well. So you need to do some research on that.
Yes, please. The next question. I bought NIST complete course on risk management from EC Council, which I have taken fully. I actually bought 2 courses with practical web penetration testing and risk management. Now I am done taking the risk management course. What job do you think I can take with the knowledge I have gained?
Which risk management course from EC Council? What is the name of the certification?
Is the question again?
What is the name of the certification that has been taken? One is web application that I understand, that is WAHS. And what is the course that has risk management into it? What is a complete certification course name?
I have over here practical web penetration testing and risk management.
Okay, and what kind of jobs are the person is asking? What kind of jobs is he eligible for?
Yes.
Well, he can join in as a junior penetration tester. He can join in as a junior analyst. Depends what kind of a work experience he has prior to taking these certifications. What is his age group and what is his prior knowledge? But if he is a fresher, he can definitely get into as a cybersecurity intern. He can join as a junior penetration tester. So there are a lot of options available. In fact, our website has a lot of career options that are listed. You can go through these career options on the website as well.
Thank you. The next question. I have professional training in system administration and a Google IT support certificate. I am now undertaking my degree in IT. What advice would you give me on my journey to becoming a cybersecurity professional?
Well, I would suggest you should get into defense. You should look at certain defense and incident handling. So you can start with CND, take up CSA, then get into incident handling. And maybe you can look at a job at a SOC, Security Operations Center.
Sorry, the next question. Which would you recommend? A master's degree in cybersecurity, a certification in cybersecurity?
Well, I would suggest both. If either one, the ultimate goal of both the routes is to provide you ample knowledge to do a job effectively. It all depends upon the amount of time that you have. So if you are a career starter, you can get into masters. And as you progress in your career, depending upon the role and responsibility at that point in time, you should keep clearing your certification exams.
Thank you. So the next question reads, how do I prepare for my first interview as an expert who has gotten a CEH certification from EC Council?
Well, I assume that you would be appearing for the interview wherein your CEH credentials would be questioned. So prepare well. CEH, since you have already cleared CEH, you have what it takes to get the job. That's what my understanding is. And grab all the modules that are there, around 20 modules that are there, revise them because there will be questions from there, and work on the basics, all I can say. Because if you are going for the interview, there would be questions from your current syllabus. And CEH is a very, very popular certification. In fact, recently ZDNet awarded CEH as one of the most sought after certification for cybersecurity. Yeah.
The next question, after getting a professional certification in a specialized career path, is there any certification to gain again, or is having this professional certification enough?
Well, professional certifications always prepares you for one particular job role. So if you are changing the job role, if you're getting promoted or you are planning to get promoted, you need to prepare for your next job role. Obviously, you need to get another certification clear. Certifications require constant upgrade and it requires you to take care. For example, if you are managing, let's say, incident handling, so you have done ECIH, but tomorrow if you want to manage forensic investigator, you have to clear that CHFI paper. So it is completely dependent on the kind of role that you are planning to take.
Thank you. So the next question, do CEH certificates from EC Council expire?
Yes, they do. Every certificate that you get has an expiry date mentioned. The versions keep changing. We keep releasing latest certifications. Currently, the version that is applicable is 11, CEH version 11. And once we launch version 12, we provide a window to upgrade your certification from 11 to 12. So there are some change documents that are shared, what has changed, and we give an opportunity to all our certificate holders to upgrade their knowledge and upgrade their certification.
Thank you very much. So the next question, how can I become a security operations center? How can I become a security operations center?
Well, you need to do a lot of investment to set up your own SOC. Security Operations Center is not a small thing. There are millions of dollars of investment required, and you need a complete team with proper audits in place and check. So my suggestion is that if you want to set up your own SOC, join a particular SOC as an employee, try and understand the nuances, see how the work goes on, and then you will understand the operations in a much better way, and maybe someday you will be able to set up your own SOC.
Thank you very much. So the last question I have over here. Recently, we've been seeing WhatsApp numbers being slaved and used for stuff without the actual owner's consent. Can you please brief us a little on how the hackers do this?
Well, if I understand correctly, the question is that how the hackers hack, is that the question?
The person is referring to how people's contacts on WhatsApp are being used without their knowledge. They don't know that their numbers are being used by someone else.
There are many ways of planting spyware and malware in your phones. There are links that are provided. So when you receive a message in WhatsApp, you click on the link, and when you click on the link, some software gets downloaded on your phone, which gives access to the hacker. Then there are some images that come up. So always downloads stuff from known sources only, and just don't keep clicking everywhere. We have been training the world on safe usage of internet, and we still have a very, very long way to go, because people just don't stop clicking. They just keep clicking. Don't click on anything and everything that comes your way. Accept files only from known sources, and you should be safe.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to take more questions because time has been fast spent. So I would be calling on Miss Alexandra Boateng to take it from here, then hear this way.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roy, for your time. Really appreciate
It's a pleasure.
it.
Thank you so much, Binay. The time difference, 8 hours difference, and it should be around 1:30 or 2 o'clock a.m. around your end. And that's a huge sacrifice. Thank you so much for actually, honoring us with your presence and your presentation. We are really grateful. So guys, we have a lot of people asking questions about prizes and everything. For students, we have a scholarship package for you. And so we will put everything on the page. Time is fast spent. We don't want to take more than the hour that we asked from you. So if you are interested, don't be a stranger on the page. Put all your questions there. We'll share the flyers and everything with you. And just to let you know that next CND and the CH class starts on the 4th of June. On the 4th of June. Those in UPSA, don't worry about it because the first 2 weeks will be used for the lab setup. As Binay rightly said, the course, if you're taking a certification in cybersecurity and it doesn't include the practical aspect, then that is not for you. Okay. And another thing, what we've done for the students is that we have it on weekends. Somebody was talking about clashes here and there between their classes and taking up our certification courses. That's not a problem at all. You can actually do it over the weekend, and it's bite sizes. If I say bite size, it means that we don't have to stay throughout the class the whole day. We know how the human memory is like. So we want you to be able to understand what you are being taught. So for each session is 3 hours only. And it's normally in the evening because we want you to be able to do all the stuff you want to do. Some will like to do their homework. Some will like to go for choir rehearsals and everything. So around normally 3 to 6, 6 to 9, that is when we have these certification courses. So as I said earlier on, the next class is on the 4th of June. Okay, weekends only. And it will be taken by an international facilitator who happens to be a reformed Black hacker, and he's in the person of Raul Sharma. And for the past, if you're interested, we've shared the Google Forms with you. You can fill up the forms. If you are a worker, we have a special package for you as well. Are there any other questions? Another thing I want to add is that we have installment payments. So if you want to pay by installment, you have a period of 4 months to actually make the installment payment. And if you want us to talk to your parents, we have what we call Convince My Parents. We have about 95% success rate in convincing parents and getting their wards to come on board. So this is all I have. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, I would like to say a very big thank you to all of you for making it out of your busy schedule. You're able to make it here. I'm really grateful to you. Okay. And guys, if you can't, afford to even pay for the certification, even after the scholarship, we do have free resources available as well. And then also the first 20 people to register in terms of pay their registration fees, which is 50 cedis, and then do their first installment. You can start with as low as 500 Ghana cedis. The first 20 are going to get Code Red free of charge, premium pro package. So if you are interested, please go back to the WhatsApp page and then fill up the Google Forms. And one of the business development executives will definitely get back to you on that. Thank you so much for your time and have a nice weekend.
Okay. into